Hi everyone, and welcome to my second podcast. Today's guest, Carlisle music royalty, absolute pop star, rock star. What else can I say, ladies and gentlemen?
Wesley Brennan!
Oh, Stephen Dunn.
Thank you very much.
Right, Steve. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to go back to the beginning of that, Steve. Where did you go to school? You know, what was Little Dunno like at school?
Oh, flipping heck, Little Dunno. Apparently I was quite a good child, but I was self-contained, played in my head a lot, as you do. You know, Bishop Goodwin, but it was the old one, you know, where they knocked the cork down?
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
It looked like a castle, like some sort of Victorian mansion, Hammer horror thing. And we used to play right in the box and like, get out of those toilets! And it was a shame because my mum did a bit of temporary teaching. I'll tell you, mum! And all of that, it was shocking. But Bishop Goodwin, then I went for a couple of years to when they built it up the new bit, just up the road. Yeah. And I ended up going to Brampton. So I went from, I born on Curragh Bank Road, Bushy Bank, big up the Bushy Bank. Yeah. And then my dad went and got a job in Brampton. We went to move to Brampton from Curragh. So we became quite international by that time, obviously. But then we moved back to White Close Gate.
Nice one.
Sorry, I jumped from schools there, didn't I?
Yeah. What about secondary school, Steve?
Trinity School.
Wow, good school.
Very good school. I didn't do too well with the qualification bit, but I thought a very good place to socialise, I think. And I think that's where I learned to sort of, because there was loads of things education you can be challenged with.
Yeah.
And you learn how to be yourself then, and there's a bit of smoke and mirrors as a person. You become who you are, I think, through school. It was an interesting one. What school did you go to?
Araby Sec.
Araby, aye. It's a big thing in Carlisle.
Mark the cameraman, he's Araby Sec.
Are you Araby? It's funny with Araby, there's a big culture thing. I went to Araby school. And it feels a bit tough. Was it
a tough school.
Tough school,
It was only school I've been to where they had doormen on the doors and the toilets and everything like that, you know. It was
But no, Trinity was cool actually. Lived at Houghton at the time. Like, just fired on the
walked to school.
Yeah, walked to school.
Brilliant.
And that's where my education, stopped and probably started. You know, once you leave school, that's when you start to learn life in it. It's like, oh, here's life, here it comes.
So when you left school, Steve, did you go to college or university or anything like that? Or were you straight into a job or...?
Well, it was funny. I went straight from Trinity into, worked on London Road, there was a coal yard.
Yeah.
And the reason I ended up with this, I just watched Quadrophenia the spring before, and the guy, Jimmy, in the film, well, he was a clerical assistant. I thought, it's a clerical assistant, and I'm going to apply to be one, because I had no idea what I wanted to be when I came out of school. And so, I want to be one of those, so I applied. Anyway, I ended up working in the coal yard through that, and I don't think that's a clerical work. You know, I think I was shafted early on in my working career, because I don't think that's clerical work. But I operated what's the biggest coal hopper in Europe. I couldn't drive, didn't let her drive till I was 35, and then there's a story about me driving, but we'll cut that later. But yeah, I was driving a big hopper, a train, I nearly ran my foreman over, and on this train next to the Newcastle line, and the JCB. Wow. And that was my first job out of school.
And that's a clerical assistant in the coal yard, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Boys and girls at school, I think it's a totally different description.
Unbelievable.
Than what that job was described as. But he got a JCB and a train and stuff like that, so that sounds all right to me.
And what was nice, they were building the lanes at the time, and I was up this big ladder. I used to climb this big ladder, lifted at Steve Wright in the morning. Yeah. I had this thing, I used to score the songs there, and Radio 1 was terrible that day, like poor scores. Didn't play the jammer out like that. But I watched the lanes being built from my big crane thing. That's a crane.
So, is that your taste in music then, Steve? Sort of the jam and stuff like that?
It is. I love the jam. I mean, my first band that I loved were the Beatles, because born in '66, brought up. The first time I heard melody, which felt like magic for the first time, was the Beatles, All My Loving.
Yeah.
And you know, you're like, what have they just done?
Yeah.
What's happened? Because you're listening to something that I was loving, and you know when you hear something for the first time or feel it for the first time, and if you are feeling it as well as hearing it, and it did that when the voices went, split, it's like, what's that? And it did something in there, never forget it. And that was the first song I learned all the words to. But then the great thing was, I had all of their songs there, you know, because I started listening to music maybe, you know, when I was 4 or something, you know, so it was complete, all the Beatles stuff. And then, the jam in me teenage years, all the angst, bit of angst.
I think a lot of people like the jam then. I mean, they were a great band. But the Beatles, I mean, I can remember going back years and years, and Mark's dad had a car, I remember it was called an 8-track.
Oh,
Very hard to describe
Cassette
to
tape.
people now with an 8-track.
Put the tape on!
We've got a few of the Beatles stuff and things like Abbey Road and that, you know. Some of the songs are amazing. But it started off, the Beatles were so suit ties and you could understand, and then Magic Mushrooms, all of a sudden we've got Strawberry Fields and Lucy in the Sky and things like that, but fantastic bands.
Beatles took drugs.
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, I don't.
I didn't know they were from Liverpool till the other day.
What? That was. But when the Beatles played, it was funny because my dad was in the police and he took the autograph books into them.
Right.
And there's a lovely painting done by a great artist called Kevin Nutter, and it's when they came to Lonsdale one of the times, and there's a picture of the copper, and I think that could be my dad. But I took the autograph books in, and then at the end, their job was to get them in the van, got them in the van, and then Ringo opened the back door. And Jimmy Preston, the duty sergeant, he clipped Ringo around the lugs, shut the door and away they went. And then they went to the Crown of Mitre and didn't get in.
I heard they were at the Crown of Mitre, and I actually heard that they got in, but they got chucked out. And I think it was something like, one of the old policemen, like Dave Ford, he was telling us the story. A rumour in Carlisle, which, you know, a rumour in Carlisle, by the way. So they told me the Beatles that played the ABC Pact, gone back to the Crown of Mitre, made a carry on and got chucked out. I don't know. I don't suppose everybody...
I bet Andy Park will have a story about that.
Andy Park, well, ask Andy Park next time he's on.
He'll know. He will know. That's the band. Did he say about when he introduced, was it the Kinks as the Who, or the Who as the Kinks?
Something
I love
like
that
that,
story.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Andy. See, Andy got me, went waiting for the postman, me and Ian Curtin, me and Mert, who was in the Daisy Chain connection with the other duo, and Andy was kind enough to give us gigs. Although some of the venues you ended up like, really? When you walked in and they were hushing you because they were doing the first bingo dab and you thought, you're in for a rough ride?
Yeah.
Rough ride.
Oof. I went to some of the clubs and that with Mark's dad was a drummer as well, and now and again I'd go with the bands and we got West Cumbria to the clubs. I mean, the clubs were packed then.
Superb.
But you were playing second fiddle to the bingo.
Oh.
The bingo was on, and believe you me, you didn't much, you know.
It's brilliant. It's funny when you go in, and some very, very like hard people, but lovely. I always loved West Cumbria, I still do.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do.
when you go, and as a performer, you go in and you're thinking, oh, and my job, because he drove and he was the technical man, the musician, I just went and made friends with everyone. You know, my son, but that was good fun.
I remember with the Daisy Chain, Steve, and that, and at the time, news was sort of the cool cats on the scene, and we used to jump into Gary Hillgrove's transit van and drive out to this pheasant at Cumwitten, and used to be playing there, and we shot like the Wishing Chair, the song was called. I'll never forget that, it's in my head there now. And we used to love going through and that, and I thought, these lads are trendy and that, these look like they'll sign a contract soon, we won't see them again. They'll end up in London in big mansions, and that'll be the end of them, you know. But I knew Dave, the bass player, because he was Arabic Sec boy.
Wavis.
Well. Yeah, Wavis, he was Arabic Sec lad. And I enjoyed with Daisy Chain, Steve. It was a lot of your own stuff and things like that, and I thought, this is so different, because all the bands I've gone to see were doing covers all the time. Great versions of covers. But you want to see somebody do, this is one of our own songs, and I knew you would do that now. I thought myself, give the lads a due, at least they're having a go at it, you know, and that's how you're going to make it. You're not going to make it singing other people's songs, really.
You know, I always remember you saying about Wishing Chair, and I always loved that. Yeah. I was always like, really? Because it's nice if somebody says, no, actually, I really like that song, and you know the meaning. It's like really nice that. It means a lot. And I've never forgot that, actually. It's funny because we do that, because I do like 99 Mr. Benz now, and we occasionally do that song.
Steve, by the way, is guitar and lead vocals with 99 Mr. Benz, and I'm sure you'll see them.
I've dropped the guitar, you know, because I was always like, if anybody's ever seen me playing guitar, I'm like on a slippery saddle. What are these? Oh, they're my hands. Oh, whose hands are they? Terrible. And so I just sing now, which I'm kind of loving, because you really camp it up, you really go for it. Yeah. I've gone more music hall with that, because with guitar, I'm very uncomfortable. I'm a crap guitar player. Let's face it. It's like I play G,
He's better than me.
It's G, and he's G flat. And that's about it. And it's like, no, but I'm just enjoying singing. You know, and it's funny, because I'm like 60 next year, but I don't think I've enjoyed singing more than ever, because I thought a couple of years ago I wasn't going to sing again, because I had this thing when I lost my voice. And there was loads of different things, going stressed with this, that, and the other related with it. And I thought, is that it? Will I just not do it anymore? And then you lose your confidence like that, and then it becomes something that you used to do. You know, that thing that, I used to do that. Because I remember thinking back to an era like Portman Square in my life, thinking, early 20s and that, thinking, wow, I remember that. And that was the days of change time, the time like wishing chair. But you know what's brilliant? I'm 59 thinking, actually, I feel better than that, in the sense of, I'm still here. Because I actually feel, it's a bit rambling up, Kirk, but reaching 50 was like a shock.
Yeah.
I was like, really? And then I got to my mid-50s, and cutting a long story short, I stopped drinking, which was a life changer.
Yeah.
And just everything just starts to fall into place. So I went from somebody who, best part of my life was that, and thinking, no, best part's to come. And I'm enjoying getting older, you know, and carrying that forward. And it's really cool. So I went off on a little bit of a tangent.
No, a lot of bands do, Steve. I mean, I watch lads now, like the Taylors and them from Duran Duran, and they're about my age. Le Bon and all them guys and that, and they're better now than what they ever were. They're absolutely, I mean, as musicians, I still don't think, oh, they're not playing their own guitar. Somebody's standing in for them and somebody's doing this. I watched them gigging, and I thought, absolutely fantastic. The older they get, the better they get. And I find that with a lot of bands, when the youngsters, the young, and they don't really care. When they get a bit older, they seem to care a little bit more about the people in the audience and the show that they're going to provide the people in the audience, you know. Which bands will come here, and what they want is they just want to come, play, and go down well. They don't want to go down like a lead balloon, Steve. No musician ever comes to a venue and thinks, I'm going to go down like a lead balloon. I mean, I'll tell you a little story. Stop at Factor, Carlisle United.
Oh, remember that?
I'm running onto the stage. I've got 911 sitting behind us and the dancers and everything like that around. There's only about 500 people there. And I've just, oh my Lord, no. And Brunton Park on the pitch with 500 people, like, it's just, I thought, well, the show must go on. So I'm gone out there and I'm telling them where the toilets are and where the exits are and stuff like that.
Did you have a moment? You're like, put your face on.
I'm looking behind us, I could see Lee Brennan and Jimmy and them waiting to come on, and they're lighted up, you know, ready to go. So they've come on, they've done a couple of songs. Lee forgot the words in about 4 or 5 of the songs because there was that less of people there. He's trying to get them to sing along, and they're like, you know, I could have went round and told them all individually who was on the stage instead of announcing on the microphone, but one of them things, it didn't work.
But you would throw them, wouldn't it? It would be like an empty swimming pool or something. It's like, oh, wasn't expecting to dive into that.
Oh, no.
And something you 500 people, and even if it's one person, it counts for a performance, doesn't it? But in that situation, it's like, oh my goodness, it's just a sea of green, isn't it? Oh, that must have been hard doing that.
I felt for them and that, you know. And the Sunday came, and I was actually on with Robbie D, starting it off just to go on, and it was all charity. And it was pelting down, and there was Lulu and Tony Christie. Of course, somebody says they're not performing because the crowd's really low. I mean, it was pelting down. It just wasn't a good night. And apparently the contracts were that sticky. You either go or you got caught. So they went on, and given it, Lulu was professional. She went out there, and she just must have thought, well, I mean, there was more there on the Sunday. There was a lot more there on the Sunday than what there was on the Saturday. The Saturday was more of a kids thing. It was Liberty X.
Liberty X?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Them guys. Andy, the singing dustman off the Britain's Got Talent or whatever, he was on, the black guy.
Aye.
Yeah, I was sitting next to him.
That seems like distant past now.
Yeah.
And
so he was singing, and it was more for the kids, that one. The Sunday was more for adults with the Tony Christie, Lulu and things like that. I mean,
Tony Christie saw him
the other week, you know, fantastic show. And there was a lot more there on the Sunday, but the weather was absolutely biblical. It was terrible. Like, you know, you could see people just like, oh God, what we're doing in Brunton Park, pouring down. But Lulu come on, done a show, fantastic. Tony Christie done his show, fantastic. And I take my hats off to them, because if it had been maybe the Gallagher brothers and like that, they'd have walked, so like guys, they'd have walked out, seen the crowd and just walked back in the changing room again and said, we're not doing it, you can do what you want with us. But, you know, Lulu, professional, and she went out, done the show.
Because no matter what, an audience, you should never be rude to your audience because you're there, and if there's a million, it's you.
Yeah.
It's your gig. You're at that gig, and it's as big a gig for that person as ever. It's funny with the Gallaghers that they'll be tied down to a contract, won't they? She'll have to play these gigs.
When you go to the big shows like them, the tickets are sold and everything like that. They've sold the concessions and everything, and it's all the money. It's the big green pound note and everything. The money's gone all over the place and stuff like that. And there's like catering caravans that are paying for. I mean, I couldn't imagine what a catering caravan will do to do Oasis gigs. It's going to be mega bucks. They'll make mega bucks, but it costs mega bucks.
Oh yeah.
But they'll be so tied down with the signatures and that, just make sure that's dry before you leave, lads. Chuck a bit of sand and that on it.
It's all the people soaking out in the middle and in between and around it.
Yeah.
And I can't get made around the thing with the tickets. How is there a situation where it's okay that, it's just the business where, that ticket price can go up when you're in the queue? When does that happen in the shops and somewhere? Sorry, your cup of tea, it's a £5 now.
Yeah.
That surely that's corrupt. Surely that's...
It's because it's such a big show.
But that shouldn't make any difference.
They can play with it. It shouldn't make any... No, I say with the ticket price is a ticket price, and that's it. None of this, they're going down, well, we just up them by 25, 30 quid.
But it's like anything, how could you sell anything? Like those shoes are going down well, we're going to double the price. And that's just not on.
Somebody was telling me last week that Beyonce was £250 a ticket.
That's great, that, isn't it?
Wow, for young girls working, just left school, the Beyonce, the fan base, young girls just left school, Mum could have 250 quid to go
Taylor
to
Swift
Beyonce.
the same, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they go down there and she's selling all somebody was saying that it was 200 quid for a hoodie. I thought, no way.
No way.
No. So, I kind of took them at a pinch of salt. There was a Carlisle room, by the way. So, I thought, it could be right, could be wrong, but I know the tickets were about $250.
That's just not on.
So, if you've
£2.50.
If you've got 3 kids, like 3 teenagers, so you look at $750 for the 3 of them to go and see Beyonce for a couple of hours in a stadium.
Makes Carlisle United a bit of value for the family.
And
Carlisle City.
We'll talk about Carlisle shortly.
City, yeah, I love that. Let's park that for later.
Carlisle United are very good to Carlisle City.
I love that.
The lenders, young players come
to
Carlisle City, 17, 18-year-old, and they're as fit as fiddles. And all they do all week is train and play football and stuff like that. The rest of the lads go to work, do a hard shift, and then come and play. These kids are cool.
There's a real culture shock here,
The kids come. I'll tell you one little story when we go back on the music. Was last season, it was freezing at Guildford Park. Carlisle United sent the 19-year-olds, Tony Hopper's boy Daniel and them kids, They got out the minibus, they had snoods on, they had pom-pomats, jackets.
Do you have sliders?
The Carlisle City boys walked out with t-shirts on. And, some of them didn't even have a t-shirt on. Couldn't feel the cold. And of course, Dev was coaching them, so Dev's gone over to the referee, well, I can't play this, it's far too cold. The referee said, no, we're playing. They've come walking off the pitch, the Carlisle youngsters. The game's on, they were nearly in tears.
What?
And that was it, I thought, the game's won. They don't want to play because it's too cold. Our lads are out, and they're all tattoos and broken teeth and that. And when you see my jacket, it's a bit nippy, on the collar. I thought, we've got to be. And I think the weather beat them more than we beat them. I think we beat them 1-0 or something like that. Yeah, to progress to the next round.
That's bonkers. What's that about?
It just, the kind of, don't forget that an academy and that they've been looked after, because you've just got to look at the likes of Rory's boy going to Chelsea, and that's your future.
It's incredible, eh?
That's your little, you look on the pitch.
And how did we start breeding goalies?
Yeah.
What is it? The Cumbrian goalie?
I think what it is, right, in West Cumbria, they play rugby, they catch a ball. And I think that it's kind of bred into them to catch a ball. Scott Carson.
That's genius, that. Do you think rugby's taught our goalkeepers?
Rugby's taught our goalkeepers, and you look at them now in the Premier League. Trafford.
You know what? That's unbelievable, that. We never knew that till then.
I just thought about it one day, and I thought, why are they so good from like Millham and White
and uppies and downies?
Cleaton. And I thought, they played rugby, all they like catching the ball. Catch the ball.
He could have something in that, couldn't he?
Yeah. So, I kind of thought myself, that sounds all right for that idea and stuff like that. We've had some good goalkeepers from West Cumbria.
I love that, but that's really, but the whole thing about this is what sometimes I fall out sometimes with the Premier League thing, and sometimes the whole professional football thing is like, why is there an image with it and an attitude with it? Why does that always have to go with it? And it does seem to, it becomes a cliche in itself, because you're right, that image that you described of them getting off the bus, that is a real cultural thing, isn't it? And it's just cost, but why?
Nobody would ever play for Nottingham Forest when Brian Clough was there with gloves on. Believe you me, nobody would wear gloves on the pitch. Because it could be minus 20 and be playing in short sleeves, jumping in the puddles and the mud and everything like that, because if you didn't, Cloughie would be waiting after the game.
I mean, it was an absolute nutter, like, but oh dear me. But it is interesting. You know, it'd be interesting if you saw like a 70s team playing against a team now. And if you could, that would just be,
yeah.
I mean, well, that team wouldn't last the first minute, would they? They'd all be off.
The teams in the 70s, Steve, were tough. I mean, they all smoked. They all got in the bath.
Some on the pitch.
Some on the pitch, yeah. They got on the bath together and things like that.
Remember the bath you wear bath at Carlisle United? They just got rid of it.
You know, I mean, the players now, dietitians.
Oh,
you know what you're eating, you can have that before the match.
It was all them people that appeared with the Michael Williamson era where we had more. They must have had their own coach. The coaches needed a double-decker bus out. There's more flaming coaches than players. And what's that? What is that?
And the titles, you know, this is your head of fitness and weight and stuff like that. They weigh them every week and things like that. You know what I mean?
We were terrible. The fitness was shocking, and we were shocking.
Yeah. I mean, I think back to the team when Carlisle were in the first division.
That was my first season.
And I looked at them and I thought, fantastic players. We're just not going to be good enough to. We were top of the league after about 4 games. I think we beat Chelsea, Middlesbrough and Spurs. And I'm thinking this could go all right, and then we got hammered for game after game after game.
Well, everyone talks about like the run up to get to the first division have been just amazing, and like, you know, the late 60s and stuff, and that. And I missed that because my first game, April the 1st. I should have stopped and thought about that. April the 1st against Burnley was my first home game in 1975. And we won 40.
That would be a big game.
It was brilliant.
That would be a big game.
And then we played Wolves, and we won again, and that was me. And I absolutely. And it becomes part of you, doesn't it? Your identity, I think. And you take it far too personal, and it gives you far too many sleepless nights and days.
I mean, let's face it, Carl, they've had a couple of bad seasons, but I mean, I'll say for the camera now, they're too good for that league below. They'll win that National League by about 10, 15 points, believe you me. You know, Mark Hughes isn't going down there for a day out or anything like that. He's going to be going to these away games. Even the likes of True Rose and the likes of that, them players will know they've got to go get the 3 points.
In our big bus.
Back on the big bus.
Look at our big bus. Look at your bus. You haven't even got a bus. But the thing is, might we make a mistake of thinking we're like a big team all of a sudden? Come to see United. I
don't think Glenn Snowden and that would allow that. I mean, let's face it, the lads will know when they go on the pitch, you're representing Carlisle United, you give 110%, or you won't be playing the next game. And
we've got to give it respect, because they're going to be big games, and you know what, until Mark Hughes, and I think most people who were around me at the games would have agreed, we would have dropped through this league as well.
Yeah.
If we'd carried on with the tippy-tappy, whatever that game is, because it isn't football, we would have gone through that league as well. Because anybody who will attack the goal and not piddle about, because I always think football's about get on and away, rather than you're coming on. It's a different game to me. It's like touch football rather than real football. It's like, somebody's coming on. It's like, no, go at it.
Yeah.
It's much more. It's a different beast. And now, of course, we've got VAR, which I'm so happy I'll never see. You know, although I would be happy if I did because of the circumstances of doing that. But seriously, you're mid-air and, have you scored a goal? I mean, how many times do we do that at a match? And you're mid-air and there's a flag. That's bad enough. 5 minutes in the air, waiting.
That's what the sad bit about. We don't get that at Guildford Park. There's no VAR down there. We've only just started getting cameras down. We've got the GoPros up.
I'd like to bring the VAR system down. We should have a live pitch VAR system with live interview.
I mean, the thing is now the football's changed and stuff like that, but there's still some good players about it. I mean, Everyone was saying, oh, Carlisle United, they're terrible this season, Kill, you know, oh, you'll have to come down. So, of course, they're pushing the game against Port Vale. It's a tenner, because I never go in for free, I always pay. If I pay and they're not good, I can moan. If I don't pay,
tickets to twine.
You know, the tickets bought are twine. I've gone down the plane, Port Vale at home, it's parked out. 60 minutes to the 3-0 up, and I'm thinking, well, that's a problem.
She's good,
You know, 61 and 62 minutes, we're up to 3-2 and they've got a penalty, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Brunton Park.
You're not 3-0 ahead and going to draw 3-3.
Netflix have missed out like that.
Of course, Gabe saves the penalty. Another from the rugby area. Gabe saves the penalty, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, they're not as bad as I thought these were all right.
That's what was a tease.
Dennis, and I looked at the big...
Oh, Dennis, he was...
The big George Kelly, I thought these...
George Kelly?
These aren't bad.
Oh my goodness, if we'd had him through the season...
This is what was missing.
Oh, but it was heartbreaking because we get this people, oh, and now, oh, and he's had a crash and that, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, come on, like, really, come on, really? It's just been like disappointing in a way that even I was like surprised at, because you get used to disappointment, don't you? But this was on a new level of disappointment.
No, going through 2 seasons and end up in the National League, which when we went down the last time, I remember the game and going down, I thought, you know, if we're going to do this, do it with a bit of dignity and that. And then, of course, we're playing Darlington away, and there's 7,000 away fans from Carlisle United in the George Reynolds Stadium watching that little game of football. 7,000, and I thought,
it's incredible.
We've got to go back up for the fans. Of course, we get back up with the playoffs and whatever. I think it was at Stoke or somewhere we played Stevenage or whatever.
It was.
I was actually on the pitch, and the Sky man says, is there anything to say about the Carlisle United team? And I had about 8 pints. I was drinking them days on. I used to have my own drink now.
I remember this.
And I just looked at the crowd and I said, Cumbria, and they all started singing. I said, the whole of me, thanks very much.
I remember that.
Of course, I've run my missus now up and told them, get this guy on the Carlisle game, I'm going to be on telly.
I love that.
I wasn't on telly.
I love that. But
she says, you weren't on.
I know. Because that was vintage.
We weren't on. But they also thought it was that bad, we're not sure on that, you know, that all that.
They missed out there, like. But, I mean, I feel really proud of the fact that Carlisle will start with like 10,000 in that first home game. Now, that's incredible.
It is incredible.
And we should be proud, because I think the fans, even though the teams got relegated, the fans have been promoted both seasons there. Fair play.
Steve, they're the best, I would say, away fans that I've ever come across. I mean, I went to the Bradford game.
Oh, yeah.
Where, before I went up into League One, I went to the Bradford game. 4,500 or whatever it was, on a Sunday, down at Bradford. I'm thinking to myself, this is unreal.
What about Bolton?
You know,
we'd have had more there if the change had been on.
Carlisle City, we get like 150, and I'm sitting with 4,500 away fans. And you couldn't have the atmosphere with this, because although the beat us 1-0, we had some good chances, and I thought, we'll beat these at home, you know, and that'd be down to Wembley and everything like that. Down to Wembley playing Stockers, and I thought, oh, not anybody but them. They're a good team, and you know, the next thing I know, Taylor Charters has just lashed in the penalty, and I thought, oh my lord.
Skill, it gives you the thing,
them boys are going to go into League One now, and we're going to be facing your Wiggins and all these teams.
Oh, well, what? They've been practising that. That's not the 3rd division, I remember.
No.
The 3rd division's had a real upgrade. And Wiggins ground has. Remember the grassy bank?
Yeah.
They used to bring the horses up. Here come the horses.
I mean, I remember going the away games at Chesterfield and things like that, and these old stadiums and stuff, and they're all gone now, they're all playing in. I mean, thank God it's not all like Bury where they built that concrete bloody whatever it is. You know, if you've got to do something at Brunton Park, just carry on with the East Stand and carry it on round the waterworks and that, you know,
the waterworks end's the one to do. Develop that whole back bit, I think.
I know where the Americans...
He says as an engineer, of course.
I know where the Americans have come from, because I've been watching...
America?
Yeah. I've been watching the Club Cup of Nations or whatever it is with Chelsea and Los Angeles, and the stadiums are fantastic. They're absolutely, the stadiums are fantastic. There's nobody in them, mind, but they're absolutely fantastic.
With the pretty...
There'll be about 50 Chelsea fans.
Maybe little smaller ones.
You know, I'm looking, I'm thinking, Jesus, the soccer isn't going down too well. But the women's game's big in the States, but the men's...
Tottenham Stadium's a women's game. Isn't it great Everton's given Goodison to the women's football team?
Fantastic.
I mean, that's just incredible there. And what a great idea, because they're going to get a load of folk going, that.
Yeah.
I love that. Great shout.
Anybody knows now that the next big thing is women's football. That's going to be the next big thing. I mean, I watch it now, and I started watching it years and years ago. And I'll be totally honest, they weren't the best. The players weren't the best. A lot of the passes were like, I watch it now, and I watch the England team playing, and
they play with a lovely flow of football. I mean, it's got a pace, and it's really, really good.
The heading balls that I wouldn't even dream of climbing heading and stuff like that, and the passing's so tight, and it's like, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
you know, I'm watching women's football, but it's fantastic.
It was nice to see when it jumped out of being like sneered at. And like women commentators, this and it just is, and it's a thing. So it should be, and the quality it's good. It's really, really good. And it isn't just an add-on anymore. It's like your Joey Martin should just really, really. The world has happily moved on.
I think Joey's got a few problems, really, hasn't he? You're there, Joey. You've got a few problems. My old son, he's never been right in the age, Joey, has he? But I mean, at the end of the day, the women's football's going to be the next big thing, and the stadiums will be full and things like that. And it's an alternative. And
it's funny, like it's like different sports. How is it that the men's game of football has also had like this violence in it? Women's game won't have. Rugby doesn't somehow. What's violent game? And it doesn't. Cricket doesn't. Golf doesn't have much.
Well, we don't have segregation at Guildford Park. Everybody comes in the same entrance, standing in the same part of the ground. I've never seen a fight, Steve. We've got no police, no stewards.
And you've got the one-man terrace, Scott. The one-man terrace.
They just go in and you mix with them. You end up, you know them. Most of them are like...
I mean, you got some Charlie Banks scans.
Yeah, they'll come.
And I love it. It's a season ticket holder at Carlisle, and he supports Carlisle City. And I like have you noticed there seems to be, because you were saying something before about the links with the clubs, there seems to be a nice link. And I know Scott did those lovely badges with City United. Yeah. And I think that's lovely, that.
Yeah, I've got one of them.
And is the good links going on?
Yeah. I mean, much better than what they used to be and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not just saying it because the loan has good players and things like that. There's a better rapport with Carlisle United and Carlisle City and that, you know. And the year they sent the first team and the beat us on pens, there was about 9 first teams and stuff like that. I've obviously come to Guildford Park and thought, nah, I'm not. But the pitch is good. It's a good little pitch. You know, I mean, there's not...
It's a nice ground. I went past
it on the
train.
For a Northern League, it's a good ground for a Northern League, because some of them you go to, like, a bit, oh, God, we'll just take the sheep off and you start the game in 5 minutes, you know, that kind of thing. And you go to Guildford and a couple of nice stands and things. I mean, it's not, there's a lot of work to do there, but there isn't the money.
Did you get much support through the local area or not?
Nah, it's a bit, I mean, fans-wise, it's a good gate to 150, but we've got your derby games against Penrith and against Kendalltown, and that you'll get up to like 500.
What would you need? I mean, what does it? This is a really random question, but like a club like Carlisle City, what does it cost for a season? I mean, how do you do it?
I don't know, because I don't pay the bills. Thank God.
Because there must be people who are putting in a lot.
What I can say, Steve, here is, think about it. The North East clubs travel 3 times to Cumbria. We travel 17 times to the North East, and we need a bus.
There's a thing.
So we ring up and we get a bus, and the bus comes, so I don't know how much it costs for a bus for the day, but imagine it's not cheap. Imagine we're on about 500, 600 quid or something like that.
Easy.
So that's to find for all them away games. So then you get your cup draws, and you end up getting another one, and like Middlesbrough saw the bus is coming again, there's another bus.
So does the club rely on seasonally, like individuals basically propping it up?
Realistically speaking,
that's a nasty way to put it. So that's a crap way to put it, but basically,
I mean it's the same as every other club.
Yeah.
You go on your attendances. I mean, let's face it, we're never going to sign Rio Ferdinand or anything like that.
What?
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's 11 lads that have been working. They come off, they're sweating, they've given 110%. That does me. So I can do both. I can go down and watch Carlisle United play. Fantastic. There was
multitask.
Nobody more. I mean, I had 4 seasons where I had to go. I've done the same job as you, Steve.
Aye.
I had 4 seasons where I had to go to the games, and I didn't miss one. Even when my son was born, we played Burton Albion on an early kick-off on Sky, My son was born at 10 in the morning. I was at Brunton Park at about 12:15, just in time to announce the team's got on the pitch. And I think we won or something like that, you know, but I'll think back to it then. I didn't miss a game home and away. I loved the club and everything like that. And kind of, after 3 or 4 years there, I started a bit, I thought, I'm getting a bit fed up with this. It's like, it's taken quite a long time. So, you know yourself, you don't just turn up, put up the music on. You've got to be there when the fans are coming in.
Well, it's a proper day out, isn't it?
Yeah, you're basically there half an hour afterwards and stuff like that. And I mean, they were great to us. I used to pop down into the director's box, you know, get a half a lager or something like that in the car to be outside and have a drive home. But I mean, you can go somewhere when you're a fan. You can just turn around and say, I'm not going to that game. Whereas when you're down there volunteering, they expect you to be there all the time. There wasn't anybody. I mean, I went on my stag do, and we got a stand in, and I mean, he turned up at about 5 to 3. Everybody was flapping and everything. He turned up at 5 to 3. He was a friend of a friend. He wasn't my friend, by the way. I just knew who he was. He was a friend of a friend. He turned up at 5. They were all flapping and ringing around everybody. You know, and I said at the end of the day, I said, Barbara can do it anyway. If
she's a multitasker, like.
Well, this is it. Barbara can do it, and that she was brilliant. When I was down there, Barbara and young Claire were brilliant. They looked after us.
And Adrian does 6 jobs. He'll be on the golden. He'll be on the mine, and he's doing the golden gamble. I think Adrian should do the half-time thing, that really hard thing they have to do from 8 mile out, through a tiny, tiny hole that's smaller than the ball.
Adrian's got secret passages around Brunton Park because
I've heard that.
Unless he transports himself, you know. Because I've seen him on the pitch with the microphone, he's doing the golden gamble.
Yeah.
And I look around, I'm sure I can see him in Fox.
He's a multi-presence.
Right?
So funny though, but like doing the tannoy is funny, innit? I'll never forget having to apologise to John Ward for playing the Smiths after the Leeds knocked us out. But even worse than that, having to announce their goal. Right. Their late goal. Awful.
I got that one day, I think Carlisle were winning about 4-0, can't remember who were playing. And then he said, well, that was an exciting game, Carlisle United for the dog and duck nil, and I just stopped myself from saying it. And I thought, oh, I've got the spoken word, Steve. You know yourself, the spoken word, you can't change it. And I went, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. Don't worry about Fred's story sacking me, it's time for me to go.
Well, my last bit was Keith Killa was laughing at us playing the Marvelettes. And I was thinking, anybody laughs at the Marvelettes, like, I do not laugh at the Marvelettes. And so I thought, I'm out of it. And when people started to try to tell you what to play, it's like, well, someone else can do that. Because I always thought it should be a mix. Because if you look at your audience, it's a mix, isn't it? And I get the old dance music crack and that, because it's good and uplifting, but start with a bit of Northern Soul.
The players used to shout at me, get the music changed, you know, when they're warming up. The players are shouting at us, Lummy and them were shouting at us, change that music. So I thought, right.
Well, they've always got such good taste.
I've got now 66, you know, CD2s, like it's all the dance tracks and everything like that, all the wild stuff. I put that on and I like that. The players like,
motivational.
Raving on the pitch, and I know.
I think build up, anthemic's good, building up.
But the same lads used to see it in town, Lummy and Dave Raven and them, they'd always come over and buy you a bottle and all that and everything like that. Apart from Kev Gray, because he scored one game and I gave it to one of the other players, I don't know why.
And did he take the pet with you?
Oh, he was looking up at the thing like that, I'm kind of like that.
Oh, you forget, don't you? Because just the random things you say, it's like,
didn't even get a Christmas card of Kev Gray that year. All the other players sent us a Christmas card. No Kev Gray Christmas card.
He had tractors, huh?
He had tractors, steam engines.
That's it. That's like big metal tractor things that don't do farm stuff.
And no
Christmas, they do.
No Christmas card that year. And I thought, right, I'm going to invest in some binoculars because I can't quite see as good as what I should do into the waterworks.
Because it's a bad view. You're at the back end, neither way can you? And you do it now.
That side I could watch no problem at all. When we beat all the shots on penalties, the Matty Glennon save.
Oh yes.
We're in that MC. You know where the office is, where we do our tannoy.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there like, oh, this is great, you know what I mean? I've got the music just sitting just to press the button and that's it when we finish.
We were a professional man.
Big massive cheers and everything like that, you know. And we were getting beat at the start. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we don't normally get beat at penalties. Then the Matty Glennon saves and that pure hero and everything like that. I thought, into the room and I put on and we are the champions and all sorts of stuff.
Because you've got to have that, you can't put we are the champions if you just got beat. It's time for the Smiths.
They said to me one day, Carlisle were going down to play Stockport away from home, and then they were getting presented with the trophy at Brunton Park. They were going to get back at like 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
They're going to be presented with the trophy. So not one of the directors, them days there'd be 7 directors. I go, we had champions with my bike weight. I said, no, I haven't got it, no. Another one of the directors said, we had the champions bike weight, no. And I thought, I'm only joking, of course I've got it, everybody's got it, There we go, Steve Pattinson, we had the champions bike weight, no, I haven't got it, Steve and that. So, I got back from Stockport, couldn't stop, straight, Carlisle United had us with a driver, straight back to the stadium, up the stairs, locked us in. I looked on my desk and here it is, Queen's Greatest Hits and that. $21.99 I thought. I bet Fred Story didn't buy that. Hey man, $21.99.
That's absolutely brilliant.
That was my wages for 4 years. Oh God.
Flipping heck, eh?
Never again, but
no, it's an interesting place. Then I was lucky when there and Michael was sitting behind. There was a place behind C stand. I mean, it's like the best seat in the world. You're right on the halfway line, and it's like absolutely is.
No bad views or anything like that.
No, well,
Steve, we'll get back to the music for a bit. So, 99 Mr. Benz.
Oh yes.
When can we next see you?
Well, we've started the new pop season. Started last weekend at Vulcan Park, Workington.
I know where that is. Fantastic venue.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
I love singing in the open air. There's something lovely. I love working. It's absolutely brilliant, and I love being near the sea and that. So we did that, but the next one we were playing at the Old Crown. You know what? I am Heskett.
Yeah, I know.
Heskett.
Yeah.
There's some very realistic posters I'm putting up on our Facebook. It could be AI, you might think, or is it a real great photograph? Couldn't have been drawn with a felt tip pen with somebody's foot. No. But no, we've got loads of gigs coming up, and we're just working on a new set, and we're going for this new wave music hall. So like the Jam and the Smiths and the Beatles and that.
Nice one.
A bit music halling. Well. But we've got a new band, No Rest for the Florists, and with my son Eden, and what a joy, but what a kick in the pants that was, because I've always been slapdash.
Yeah.
And you could have and anyway, to actually be in this band with him, I've had to really flaming practice and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't just turn up willy-nilly and just do all of this.
Yeah,
this stuff. We'll have a nice little sing-song and a nice rehearsing and stuff.
Wow.
And he knows. But we've got all this stuff coming together that we're releasing. We've got another release in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Somewhere north. And then we've got Trip the Light Fantastic coming out in summer, and it's going to be ace. We've got Ross Sluman on brass.
Ross,
she's brilliant. Ross Sluman, absolutely superb, and she plays flutes and everything.
Where did I see Ross? Who was she playing with?
Well,
she's Ollie Alcock.
She played with Ollie.
Ollie Alcock, yeah, I seen her there. Good saxophonist.
She's brilliant.
That's my word of the day, saxophonist.
It's a good word as well. Good scrabbling word. If we were to scrabble eyes, you could do scrabble.
She's fantastic, Ross. I've seen her and that she's good.
So she did all the brass for it and that, so I really look forward to that. And hopefully we'll be playing live with that as well soon. But it's nice with the 99 Mr. Benz. And back to that thing of really enjoying singing. And
we'll take the 2 years with 99 Mr. Benz.
So just piano and singing. So it's really you've really kind of got to go for it.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of getting more into, I'm trying to channel a bit of Karen Carpenter. Well, it's never sing as well as Karen Carpenter. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's good. It's really good.
Andrew, by the way, was saying Mr. Cairns, he was Daniel's headmaster for a while.
No way!
Oh, he was a good headmaster as well.
Was a job. And he played for Carlisle City?
He did indeed, yes, he did indeed.
Because hopefully we're going to do a gig. He's having a birthday. We won't come and spoil your birthday party, but...
No, the club's 50 years, they started in 1975.
Because Scott was saying about doing a gig, and we thought, that'd be ace if say if there's anybody else, obviously take that. But if you've stuck...
If things 10 up, the 10 up and stuff like that, I'm not sure what's happening for the 50th. I know that some of the...
50 year, eh?
Some of the vice presidents are doing something at the Denton Club in July for players from the past and future, which there's a hell of a lot.
Will Mr. Cairns be going?
You know what, Steve, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Put that out.
What it is, you see, we've been in the close season. I've never spoke to anybody.
Oh, of course.
We don't have our football fix on Saturday.
That must have been...
I got up on a Saturday, I'm like...
They feel different without football, don't they? I mean, a lot less stressful and a lot more enjoyable. I often can't watch Match of the Day because it often kills football for us.
Steve, I can only watch one game. If I've gone out and I've been at United or I've been at City, I watched the game. I can't go overnight and then watch more games. Nothing wrong with the Premier League. It's a fantastic league. It's the best league in the world. But it's not for me, Steve.
I've lost touch with it. And in England, I'm struggling watching England. And is it maybe because they're not particularly entertaining to watch? And I need to have some entertaining football to watch.
The best players in the world. I mean, Jude Bellingham, players like that, Harry Kane, and all these people, and they must disappoint themselves, Steve. England. I think sometimes they'll come off the pitch and feel disappointed. But what I can say is, people love playing England. They just push the game up.
You're right.
We're playing England. We're going to go out there.
You're right.
Give it 159%, and we're going to really have a go.
How do we never play like they do in the Premier League?
Why
is it not like, whoa, look at that, look at all these lot lashing about it? It's all a bit like, why don't they just say, like say we were picking the team, we can just go and do your thing. Yeah. Why don't they just say that to them?
It's probably
maybe not the deepest tactics, like, but
what it is, Steve, is that they're probably too technical with them.
Aye.
Saying to them, look, you know, play it up from
they back. Must be, because they know how to play football. That's why they've got into teams. Why do sometimes the managers get in the way of their own creativity? Yeah. Why? Like George Best, let him play.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a bad example because he was very, very, very good. But
Bill Shankly said, right? Yeah, I was saying about Bill Shankly, and he said, the game's easy. The goalkeeper gives it to the defenders give it to the midfielders give it to the forwards score. That's the game of football. He says, you guys complicate it. And I always think with England is, sometimes it's far too complicated the way they're playing.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I'm thinking to myself, just go out there and just turn around and just say to them, look, do what you come have a run about.
Players playing against each other rather than avoiding each other.
They're in shackles, and then you think to yourself, why isn't he playing? You know, I mean, I've got a thing. I like Jack Grealish. I think he's a fantastic
player. Same here.
And he's the only one that runs at the defenders and worries them, and he puts nice crosses. He's got a good cross with the ball.
They have to bring you down 9 times out of 10, don't they?
And I look down and think to myself, there's Grealish. He can't even make the squad now and things like that. I'm thinking
he should have left Man City, I think.
Jared Branthwaite playing with the 21s when he should be playing with the first. You know, the England.
Isn't that amazing, eh?
Yeah.
Amazing that. What if they'll ever sell him? There's always this thing everybody says, we've got to sell him this season, they've got to sell him. Maybe we should keep hanging on because it's gone up.
The thing is,
that's
now,
very biological.
Everton have got new owners, they've got a new ground, he might want to stay.
And fair play to him.
You know,
and I think that's a great club. Everton's a great club.
Oh, a fantastic club. Absolutely fantastic club. I mean, somebody told me, if you look at the L postcode, which is Liverpool, Everton at 80%, Liverpool about 21%, because most of Liverpool fans are travelling.
Is that right?
But the Evertonians are actually...
See, I was shocked that Everton were the original Liverpool team, and I found out a bit. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
They were a big side years ago, Everton. I mean, they still are a massive team now.
But the thing is, the intergalactic teams, where are they going to go? You know, it's like, where have they got to go? Yeah. I've always liked keeping an eye out for Villa's results because 1975, Ron Saunders said, Carlisle United is a good footballing team, we're going to give it a good go against Leyton Orient, and they drew and we went up. So I thought, well, thank you, Aston Villa. They've done that. What a lovely thing to have done. So I keep an eye out. But even Villa have gone into that thing where, if they're not getting into the Champions League this season, now it starts to be a failure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you go with that? Whereas look at Carlisle, we've just dropped out the whole world of football, and then we've found our feet and we're going, all right, we'll have this, and I tell you what, we're going to sell over 3,000 season tickets. I'm so proud of that.
Yeah.
I mean, your Barcelonas and all that, all right, it's big teams, but do they have that sense that there's no real reason for us to be going there?
I mean, not
you know, it's like there's been no glory. We go because we love the club. We haven't loved some of the way the team's played, but we love the club, and that's why we're all. But I'm so pleased that 10,000. That's a moment there.
Steve, that's natural when you're getting beat every week and stuff like that, and you're sort of thinking, can you change the way we're playing? And everybody's on the same notebook. Can you change the way we're playing? Can you change the way we're playing? Because it just isn't working. And I'm looking at Carlisle United's results, and I'm like, this can't carry on. Whoa, gee whiz. This can't carry on. This can't keep. Look at them. Carlisle, they're one down already, you know. And I'm thinking, getting beat at home and that, and the player. And I thought, So, this is bad, this. But when Mark Hughes come in, I thought that's a chance, And I mean, let's face it, they took it right to the wire. Unlucky. Normally Carlisle
United. He did a great job, Mark Hughes.
If they'd only got him a little while earlier.
If he hadn't stopped, it would have made this feel like a disaster, because I was really scared because of some of the decisions that happened. And fair play though to the family, like they've dipped into the pockets 3 times, and I think they should be applauded. And hey, everyone makes mistakes, and they've got right, okay, but who would stick in and go for a 3rd time? So fair play to them. And what I like is, as fans, we've given them the chance to look we're here. He's the fans. It's not like they're thinking, oh, if we can get up a league, we'll maybe get 10,000. We're already there.
Yeah, could you imagine if they'd sold 1,000 season tickets, something like that? It would have been.
Would have blocked them. That could have killed it.
Yeah.
So I think the fans have just played a massive part in keeping the club going, because there'd have been no appetite from anybody, and Mark Hughes and everybody, I think, if there'd been no fans can. So fair play to us there.
Can you imagine now the away fans with some of these grounds where there's only 1,500 people can get in?
We're going to feel like a big team, aren't we? We're not big boys.
The ones that like going now, I can imagine the gold dust, the tickets.
I love that. I love the fact, and I hope we don't swank with this, we love the fact that we're going to give a lot of clubs a boost, because we will go and they'll drink the bar dry, and we'll sell every ticket possible. And if there's any, they should just let us have as much of the ground as they want. But if they don't want to sell it, and I hope we have a lovely trip and make loads of friends all around the country.
I think there will be, because when you get down into like it's
France, isn't it? Europe, Spain.
Yeah, it's a professional league, Stephen, but it's classes. Your classes non-league footballers. They're not non-league footballers. They're playing full time. All the teams, York City, Gateshead, everywhere like that.
York City, that'd be great playing them again. I wish they'd got up for that, but
if you get Gateshead on Boxing Day away from home, you can say, how many was that stadium hold?
That's a good point. I don't know.
The Olympic Stadium or whatever it is. I mean, I've been there myself, and everything's on one little piece of it, and the rest of it's just because it's absolutely massive.
Have Carlisle City played Gateshead with Scott singing? I'd like to see him singing in the big stadium atmosphere.
They're at Gateshead were like...
You could do an album.
Gateshead like National League. We're in the Northern League, which is about 5 divisions lower or something like that.
Oh, close.
We're about five below Carlisle United, where they are now in the National League. We're about 5 below in the Northern League.
Wow, right, okay.
But if we get promoted, which... this season there's no big teams in the Northern League this season. The red card them have gone. They had benefactors that could pay the players a fortune. They were getting all the best players. The National League North players playing for the red card, and they've got them up, and they've worked. But I looked at it and I thought, we go up and that. And there's still a lot of northern teams that to play and stuff like that, but I thought, the bus fares are going to go up when you got to Sheffield and places like that, you know what I mean?
I know, well, flipping it, I've got this thing where I can't travel on buses and cars. I've got this many years thing, which, who knew I was a dizzy bugger? But my grandson goes, and I love that.
Yeah.
He's took the mantle, I absolutely love that, and he's going to be going on the bus to all the games, and he's got the bug. Let's say he goes to Carlisle City as well, and I love that, and I love that he supports both clubs. That's really nice, and I love it that there's some really healthy links, and I hope that develops. Actually,
there's no rivalry or anything. I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, they're the professional club. We're just the lads are just 11 working.
But it's deliberately helping it. Is it deliberate?
I
love that. Good.
It's helping us, and I mean, this year I realise that Mark's not going to send the first team to like Penrith, Kendal, blah blah. We'll probably get the 19s. We still get a good crowd against them. Because so many people want to go and see the youngsters play. The likes of your Dan Hoppers and lads like that are playing in a good place.
And that's a lovely link to City, because everybody knows and loves the Hoppers, it's lovely that.
I've gone to Penrith away from home, I think maybe Boxing Day, something like that. Me and Dal from CRFM.
Hey!
And I'm looking at him, you can tell Tony's by a mile if he looks like Tony. And I'm looking like that, and he takes a shot. And we've got a Carlisle goalkeeper in Scott Simons, by the way, who was a good goalkeeper, and it goes underneath him. We're on the 3G, by the way, and we're on the 3G. We play on grass, they play on the 3G. And it's gone in at that Hoppers by there, that's all right, that. He goes and does it again. 2-0. Played them wrong, he played fantastic. He's good. But the kids we got, I mean, I looked at them, I thought, I couldn't judge them. We had Trent, big Josh O'Brien at the back, big 6 foot something defender, 18-year-old, and he's like 6 foot something, and that like built like a man. We had Trent, we had one of the lads that actually got kept on. I think they kept 4 of them on, and we had one that got kept on. And the fit as fiddles and stuff like that, and they wanted to play. They haven't come and thought, it's the Northern League, I couldn't be bothered. They've come and they've looked and thought, we're playing men's football.
Good.
And it's like anywhere else, Steve, a scout can go anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where they get the grounding to be a proper football, isn't it?
You can be a scout, you can say to yourself, oh, look at this lad, he's scoring goals, you know. We'll go and have a look at him and stuff like that. And I mean, I can remember going to Reds down to working with Darryl, and they were playing Warrington, they were top of the league. And I looked and there's a guy playing number 11, Sidibe, and I thought, wow, what a player he is. He's all right. He's one for the back of the 8 to mention, and that, you know. A week later, he signed the Scottish Premiership for St Johnstone. You know, they like that.
Yeah, oh, look at you, eh? You could have been a scout.
That, you know, I thought myself,
could have been a scout.
I would have been his agent.
But isn't it exciting this time of the season where it's all to come? But I'm happy because coming out last season, it was bringing me down. I'm embarrassed because I said to everyone a couple of games before, I said, look, I'll say to that now because I don't think I can bear coming back. I always knew I was going to renew my season ticket, whatever, but it was upsetting us.
Yeah.
I was like it's like, oh, what's happening? And it shouldn't still, eh?
No.
You know, that 7-year-old never leaves you, does he? I used to sulk well into the week. I get over it by, well, it depends what's happening, but Sunday usually, yeah.
I always used to think 2 teams have got to go down. Every season there's 2 teams.
But why always us?
Why us, you know? Why us?
We're just lucky that way.
At the end of the day, the end of the season, everybody started putting it together. Carlisle United were playing really good football. Tranmere started playing good football, things like that.
And the Carlisle United players were played such a...
Yeah.
The ex-Carlisle United players such a pivotal part in Tranmere's survival.
And at one point I was nearly, and it was just really, really interesting. But no, I'm excited to think we can look forward to something that we really were dreading,
Well, I think with it, if it's only for one season, it's great because you've got to go to all these grounds you've never
You don't want to go
before.
twice.
You know. Nah, I can say in the camera now they'll come back up. I think they'll win the league by 10, 15 points, something like that.
I just don't know anymore. I don't know anything anymore because I thought, look at that, we've been bought millions of pounds. Oh, we're just going to be brilliant. And it's like, oh, how's that not happened? When have you ever seen that happen? Like buying a really expensive car, and it can't get out a second. You know, this should be going dead fast.
I don't think that Mark Hughes will allow them for 1 minute.
I love we've got Mark Hughes. As soon as he came and stood on one leg and stood like that, and like that, you're like, get on.
And Glyn, they're going to be coached that they'll come out of them grounds away from home, down in Truro and down the south of England. They'll come out and they'll want to get on that pitch, get them 3 points, you know, get the headlines, get back on that bus and up and that, and then maybe give them a day off through the week to see the families and stuff.
Well, take them a day off to give them back.
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking to myself, knowing the Piatics, they'll be flying down, won't they? Somewhere else.
I think a lot of folk are talking about flying.
Yeah, it's a long way through, Roy.
You might as well have a day of it, rather than a week. But it's quite what's the chances of it being a Tuesday?
Everybody keeps saying,
Oh, on a Tuesday. Well, after I went to that game, half 12 kick-off or something, was it? 2 in the morning, we were getting a flaming bus. You know what? And your breakfast pie doesn't have the same allure.
No. I've been to some of them, Steve, where you're up at the crack of dawn and you're going to games and stuff like that. I mean, I went to Torquay the year we come down. John Courtney was the chairman, and we flew from Newcastle down to Bristol Airport, me and Norman from Dempsey's, and JC was picking us up in the car, got to Torquay. We're going in with the fans. I said, all right, John. So I didn't want to go in the direction.
It was some cookie, yeah.
You know, I went to Torquay and he can't believe all these Carlisle fans are at Torquay. You know, I couldn't believe it, Stephen. Like, Jesus, wept. Unbelievable. Like, we started winning games. We went to Mansfield. I can't remember who the player was, but there was one of the players, the Mansfield players, he was a winger. His name will come back to me. He was running past the door going, you're going down. And I'm like, I can hear him. I'm the little director.
Oh, I hate that.
I could hear him saying it to you, going down. Of course, we turned around and we beat them.
Good.
So it was like, I thought, he was like, you know, we'll get back up again and stuff like that. You know, we'll only be down for a season and stuff. you got the likes of Paul Simpson coming in, he just didn't have enough time just to turn it around. It's similar to Mark Hughes, didn't have enough time just to you. 2 or 3 games more, a bridge too far.
Ah, you're right.
Because
it felt like that with Mark Hughes, didn't it? A couple more games, and like with getting Kelly back, who like flip fair play to him, like what a player. And I'm interested to see Armstrong because he never got the chance in Tippy Tappy land.
What's he going to do when his dad's the manager of Gateshead, by the way? His dad's Alan Armstrong, the footballer. He's just got the Gateshead job.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, conflict of interest.
He's just got the Gateshead job. He's got the Gateshead. He has got it, yes.
Have you just...
No, he's got the
Killa first.
Job.
Oh,
so Alan played for Middlesbrough and Newcastle and all that like that. And I can't remember which team he was at, but he's a good manager. So it could be his son facing his dad in the dugout, you know. But when you're a professional, you play for your badge, Steve. You know yourself to come out and you're playing for your badge. Hopefully you come and you think to yourself, you know, this is Carlisle. And 99% of the players, Steve, they do give 110%.
Oh yeah. I felt for the players because, you know, nobody goes deliberately out to play badly. And it was just, you could see it was just a mess. It was like being in a band and no one was playing the same song. And everybody's sort of playing something, but nothing's connecting. There's no harmony going on.
The only one I've watched down at Brunton Park, and I can't remember his name, Harry. Can't remember his name, like, but he come on and I thought, this boy's a Fruit Loop. He's arguing with the fans in the Warwick Road end and the paddock and everything like that, but the Carlisle United top on.
Yeah, it's not a good idea, is it? It's like, oh, don't.
See, he obviously doesn't live on Close Street or somewhere like that. You know? I thought he must live somewhere in the country with a big fence around his house.
It's a really silly thing, yeah.
He's got his Carlisle top on and he's arguing with the Carlisle fans, and I thought, nope. Best fans in the world, you know, to get on with that. And they give everybody a fair chance, Carl. They do the players.
And
they want people to do well.
We have got a reputation of being good fans, haven't we?
The great fans. The fantastic fans. And believe you me, them fans go down there, the ones that's been going for years, and that you George Johnson, people like that.
Barry on the bus, looks after the bog on the bus, make sure you lock the door proper.
And they go down there and they want to play for the club and so on, and they look at the fan. People now will be looking and saying, you know, like Reagan that's coming, that's just signed for United, and he's got to be thinking yourself, I've gone from like so many fans now to the...
Aye.
If he scores 24 goals for Carlisle United,
it's lovely. I mean,
he'll go up there with the Dean Warrens, the Rod Thomases,
and what that means to people there. Because I had a big spell in the 80s and the 90s travelling away, and then I had another spell before I got dizzy lad first, and then the same people were on the bus there, you know, and I love that, you know, Tommy Coleman and that, Raymond, P.I. and Barry and that, and I've got so much respect for those people and all of them because they've been alien. We used to go to places like Chef, never forget going to Chef Wed, and there was only about 80 of us, so they put us in with them. We were like an afterthought. Imagine that now. Going to Chelsea and there maybe be a couple of buses of it. Getting off at Euston was, you know. And but now we'd take thousands, and it was embarrassing, wasn't it? We'd rock up and you'd be like, big places there, and there's like, where is everybody? And everybody wanted to harm you in some way in those days, didn't they? Now it's lovely. You know, people just go for the football and it's nice. And there's loads of... how lovely was it though when like kids and families started coming back? Because there was a period, wasn't there, when could you see that coming?
Yeah.
If that had happened then, this club would have died, I think, because...
I know now that, I mean, your kids are your future and stuff, and I see it at Brunton Park. I see it at Brunton Park and I see the families going back and stuff like that.
Great.
And there's no violence, all like the fans that sing at each other and stuff like that, dancing about and stuff. But I mean, some of the stands, even the family stands, things like that, they don't even swear or anything like that. The kids are going, they've got the full kit on.
Oh, they love it,
I can remember in Carlisle when everybody had a Man U top, a Liverpool top, a Leeds top, blah blah. Never a Carlisle top. I go through town now and
I see them. Well, Jude, another grandson of mine, bless him, he was Man United, he's got rid of all his Man United stuff, it's all Carlisle. Yeah. And he's got a season ticket and you're like, get in. Now, I can't remember, because time I've gone, when it's been as exciting as that, in the sense of, like, well, back to 10,000 for the first game, home game, that's mental. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely, after 2 seasons of absolute, it was horrible. To have that, and the optimism I'm feeling from everyone's just, I'm so excited for that first game. I cannot wait.
I think you always know in about 12 games and stuff like that. I just think...
Unwrap the new team.
I just think so I look at it and I look at the players and stuff. And that'll be the first Mark Hughes signing, really going to be his first signing.
And doesn't he look good?
Steve.
Boom.
24 goals at that level, he comes on.
That's what you want.
He gets 30 goals for
Go on,
Carlisle
Matt
United. He
Hughes.
goes straight away into the legends room with the Dinos and Rods and Stephen Poon watches and all
We've
these
got
people.
Matt Hughes as a Carlisle. He will be now a Carlisle name. Isn't that remarkable? When I think about Matt Hughes, from what I remember him as a kid and that, and a kid, I would be
Playing for
old by then. And you think of Matt Hughes now, and for him to say about he'd never had such a response, was it? You know, that last game we've been relegated, we're singing his name. For Matt Hughes to be able to say he's never had such a response in football or seen that, I think it's really remarkable. And I feel really chuffed with that.
You know, the weirdest thing is, Steve, after I've done Warwick Road and you see Mark Hughes and Glyn walking to the ground, I'm like, there's Mark Hughes. When I was young, Mark Hughes played for Man United, he played for Barcelona, and he's walking on Warwick Road, and I'm weird like that, I'm looking like that. You know, I'm thinking to myself, wow.
I know.
You know, if he gets it right, the only problem is if he gets it right this season and we go back up again, it's going to be hellish hard to keep hold of.
I think for me, because it's been so bad, the fact that I think he's going to give it everything he can, and I think I like his attitude, I like his style, then it's almost like, well, let's see and let's just back them anyway, because I think he's going to give an honest, good, strong go, and we're in the best hands that we've been in, let's face it, because I was scared. If Mark Hughes hadn't stayed, who's it going to be this time?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's going to happen this time?
I mean, the good thing is now Mark Hughes knows the players. And he's watched them for like the last 10, 12 years.
And they know that there's going to be a standard. Now, how on earth there can be such a bad lack of fitness? How that's happened is a weird, especially out in the world with all the Cybermen, whatever knots they were doing at the side. It's like, what's all that about? Get rid of all of that. Just practice football.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
I love it.
But I honestly think they'll come straight back up.
Do you? I'm trying not to do that because I want that.
I do. I
don't hope for that.
I think, you know, a lot of teams will come to Brunton Park and it's a load of pitch and but they'll look at them fans and be thinking, Jesus Christ, where are we at? You know what I mean? We're at the San Siro.
That's a funny one to get your head round, that actually Carlisle would feel like a bigger fish.
Like the San Siro, well, they are a big...
The San Siro.
I mean, let's face it. In that league, Steve, they're a big team, a really big team.
And that's refreshing because we've just been on the decline forever.
The way I look at it, as Derby in League One. They're just the fit.
I agree.
They're not going to be there forever.
Pompey, Sunderland drifted to leagues that were...
You know,
and their clubs again aren't the way you expect them because the fans stuck. Leeds, I quite like Leeds. There's a bit of character about them. I loved it when we used to go to Ellen Road, especially when we beat.
I'm pleased when the Leeds are back in the Premier League.
That's where it should be.
And I'm also pleased that Sunderland are, because
it's
a big game, Sunderland, Newcastle and that, you know, and things like that.
And Sunderland Leeds, remember, was it the 73, 74? No, FA Cup. Well, I'm making something that never happened up now.
We played Sunderland, I think we took about 6,000 fans.
Didn't we got them in the Cup 2 years and we got replayers each time? Andy Cook scored.
Yeah, we got one where...
Oh, how we jumped up and down.
I think it was way back, but I remember playing Sunderland.
Roke is a nice ground there when you get up and all the stuff on the side. That's a really nice ground. Newcastle away end though is just like, where are you?
You can see Belgium. You're that high up, you can see Belgium. Look how you see Belgium. You're that high up.
It's like, seriously.
The players are that big, aren't they? I've been up the top of that Milborn stand. The players are that big and that. You know Shearer because he's got the ball head in that, You know?
And it's a shame because actually when you go and you actually feel you're in the ground, it's absolutely brilliant, but the away end's terrible. It's not even in the ground.
I'd like to be right down the very bottom, and I don't like being up high.
Remember the big black and white fencing you couldn't see through? And in the scratches you have the blue. What was all that about when we watch matches in cages? No wonder the families didn't come.
No.
Now we've got a lovely fan zone instead of a cage. Bring your children to the cage.
Them days the newspapers lived off it, that in the fight scene and everything like that, and the casual scene. And the newspapers lived off it, whereas now
people want colourful jumpers and fighting
and stuff like that, and it's like, it's brilliant. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful. Because I know there's this balance about the fans. I think the fan zone's been an absolute genius, and actually, why not? Because it takes now away from.
The fan zone is fantastic.
I think it's brilliant. Fantastic. I loved it. Was it a Scunthorpe fan had put a picture of Carlisle's going?
Yeah.
Look at Carlisle's. And I love that. I really, really do. And football's always going to be all of these things because we grew up watching football in the 70s, 80s.
The fans on
You've always got that.
Yeah.
But the whole family scene, and it's more of the end. I think what sometimes rankles me, it's a Saturday night entertainment football now, isn't it? A bit like Saturday night's telly. And I mean, yeah, that jars with me sometimes, but tell you what, if it's going to keep your club alive and make people have a more enjoyable afternoon, there's no wrong with that. Because you make the afternoon what you will, don't you?
It's all about the match experience, Stephen. You go down there, look at that big screen every night. I think this is fantastic.
I love that big screen.
And all the bars and everything like that, and it's chilled.
And that
you know,
like sort
nobody
of
throwing tables.
Doctor Who beer where you just put your cup on it and it fills up.
I don't realise you have to put your credit card in as well, Steve.
What?
Yeah. Right, what are summarising now? So, Steve, you just tell us round about any gigs you're playing or anything like that.
You know what, if I could remember any dates, I should be saying them now, but we've got loads coming up. Next one's the Old Crown Heskett Newmarket. That's with 99 Mr. Benz. I think that's on the 3rd of July.
Right.
I'll check, but I will put stuff on Facebook. Have a look on Facebook and it's all on there. And then we're playing throughout the summer, which is nice. And then, but no rest for the florists. Have a look because we've got like music coming out. We've got Somewhere North coming out in a couple of weeks. And then we've got Trip to the Light Fantastic coming out probably August.
Oh, I tell you what, I've got to mention this. I heard a rumour, a Carlisle rumour. People are playing Bits Park in September. Oh. And I heard that from a good mouth.
A good mouth?
Yes, I heard that from a good mouth and I thought, ooh.
That's exciting because what a great place to have gigs, Bits Park is.
I like them. I've got the CD at home with the One Night in Heaven and all that.
She's
stuff.
got a good voice, doesn't
she?
she?
Yeah, the small.
You'd have her on the terraces, wouldn't you?
Tell you what.
100 of the Smalls. Mind you, who would win? Heather Small or Scott?
Scott.
Scott every time.
Scott's a professional
every
singer.
time. He's a professional singer. It's the Welsh.
He's
Welsh bit.
I'll tell you a little story about Scott. We went away to Benfield and it's a sports complex. There's everything. There's boxing and everything like that. Scott's gone up to the corner flag, sets his flag up, and his ears singing and that. They come walking out the gymnasium. Will you move? We can't concentrate. Oh my God, I've never seen Scott move. They were coming out like that. Can you move? We can't hear ourselves thinking there with Scott singing and that in his way.
And anybody who's stood near Scott will know exactly what that means.
He's
brilliant. The man with the bionic voice.
Right, guys. I'd like to thank Stephen very much. I've enjoyed that, and we've hardly scratched the surface of it.
We got waylaid.
We got waylaid, but we've had a good crack, a good football crack, good music crack, and everything like that. I mean, if you can go and see Steve and
wherever it is,
whenever it is, 3rd of July or whatever it is, it'll be on Facebook where he's playing and stuff like that. Go and see him with the big band and that. You got any gigs coming up, Mark, I can mention?
I'm in Whitehaven on June the 28th.
Oh, where in Whitehaven?
I think it's the golf club.
Oh,
Mark's in Whitehaven with the Misfits. By the way, the Misfits are a big 10-piece band. Mark's actually the drummer with them, and it's brass.
The engine.
It's brass and everything like that. I think they get about 5 pence each for playing, but apart from that,
it's pretty good.
They're great to watch, you know. He also plays with a band called Superfly, who are fantastic. Get the chance to see them. I think they've got about 4.
Good name. Good name.
So, thanks very much, Stephen.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it, mate.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.